It's the Elsa Kurt Show with Clay Novak. Serving up trending news and conservative views. Brought to you by the Elsa Kurt Collection and Refuge Medical. And now, it's time for the show.
Oh, hey, we are back. The dynamic duo is back.
You're back.
Yeah, I'm back. You were holding down the fort. What else is new? I go off and party like a rock star. And by party like a rock star, I mean hang out with my grandbaby. To me, that's a party.
Absolutely.
With you, we were just talking about it before we started up here. And, like I did all the work here. It's four and under. So it's 4 kids, ages 4 and under. So it's a 4-year-old, almost 3-year-old, she'll be 3 in January, a 1.5-ish year old, and a 3-month-old. And it is full on. And, and anyone who's a parent or a grandparent here, you all get it. It's like even when they are their best behaved, which honestly they most often are. I mean, I think I'm a grandmother. I think they're angels. So they can do no wrong in my eyes. But even objectively, if I tried to be objective, I'd say they really like their worst behavior is no big deal. They're babies. So, but even at their best, I'm trying to get to the point here, even at their best, it's exhausting because you're so like every cell in your body is occupied by watching them, protecting them, adoring them. And, by the end of the day, you're a zombie. You're just toast. It's wild. It's all in a good way though. No complaints. I love it. I love it to pieces.
It's like talking to liberals.
Yeah, exactly. Except the babies are so cute and the liberals are so not. They are going to be heavy in our conversations tonight, right? We got a lot of good stuff, a lot of good ones. As always, Clay picked some great stuff. We're going to be talking about the New York race. Of course, we're going to be talking about the No Kings nonsense. We're going to be talking about the shutdown, a bunch of stuff. We got a lot of good stuff for you guys. Clay, you want to say anything before I pop in our little promo?
Well, first of all, welcome back. It's always good to have you back. It's always a better show with the two of us here. I appreciate having you here. But yeah, it's been a week. It's been super busy for everybody. And like you said, we got a bunch of great topics. It is Wednesday, our normal recording time, 4:30 on the East Coast. So I think we kick it off right now.
I love it.
Dive right in.
All right, let's just. Here's the stuff coming up, guys.
This week on the Elsa Kurt Show with Clay Novak, New York Republicans flirt with Andrew Cuomo. Seriously? We'll ask if the GOP's lost its backbone. Then, the No Kings March sweeps the streets. Protest or performance art? The National Guard gets caught between courts and commanders while Washington hits shutdown week 4 and Americans pay the price. We'll unpack 2 million deportations the media's barely whispering about and the Illinois state TA who flipped a TPUSA table in Jesus' name. And finally, Kevin Federline's memoir. Yep, even pop culture's got a gem hidden in it.
Boy, I'm going to torture Clay with that last one. It popped up in my feed and I was like, oh yeah, I'm not even going to tell him beforehand. I was going to leave it off of that little teaser too and just spring it on you. But now you know. It's such an exciting topic. I mean, it should be. I mean, I feel like it's even bigger than Taylor Swift, I mean, no, obviously I'm kidding, guys. I'm just joking. Let's see. So let's talk about this. Boy, oh boy. So, we've been kind of casually talking about it as long as we've been talking about Mom Donnie there. And this is still such a head scratcher, isn't it, Clay? So now the GOP, of course, is this confirmed yet that they're backing him, or is that's why I got the question mark?
Yeah, really what's been happening, and they won't do it until Sliwa drops out. And so that's the thing. So he is being publicly now encouraged to drop out because very much in a Ross Perot kind of way, Cuomo in the race as an independent, it splits the non-hardcore Democrat vote and the Republican vote, truthfully, between Sliwa and Cuomo, which gives Mom Donnie a freebie. Like it's a guaranteed win for him because it's just divided the vote too much. So Sliwa, and for those of you that aren't familiar with the names, he is the Guardian Angels. He's the guy with the Maroon Beret. and he is the one who's being asked to drop out because he by himself doesn't have enough votes to win or to even challenge Mamdani. But what he does have, or what he does have the potential to do, is disrupt the other side of the vote. So he's being asked to drop out, and then all the GOP and the Dems, some of the Dems, will back Cuomo naturally because they don't like Mamdani. But if you've got the conservatives and then the split party and the Dems, that gives Cuomo an opportunity to beat Mamdani and be the mayor. Can you think back to 2020? Could you imagine that this back then during COVID, right? Or even in the aftermath of COVID, with all of the things related to Cuomo, that the GOP would be encouraging people to vote for him for mayor of New York City?
It's such an upside down world, isn't it, Clay? It's such an upside down world like this. I just can't believe that once again, here we are saying things like, well, we have to pick the lesser of the evils here and go with, the better of our bad choices. It's so crazy to me that this is what we're going through. And I don't understand it. Like, I just don't understand. Are we still as a party that much of a hot mess that we can't put forward anything better? Like, how is this possible?
I think it's not a matter of a viable candidate. I mean, Adams won as he was kind of a Dem, but really a very conservative Dem, former police chief. Like, he was about as conservative as you're going to get, post Giuliani. But the reality is that there's been way too much, as with every major population center, there's been way too much dependency built in on government programs. There's been way too high of an influx on illegal aliens, et cetera, et cetera. So the voting rolls are predominantly blue. You could resurrect Ronald Reagan and put him in New York City, and I don't know if he would win. That's just the way things are right now. So what you've got to do, which is what the GOP is encouraging, is consolidate what red voters there are and try and split blue as best you can, and then and win. And so, New York's a hot mess. Proof positive. I still have a hard time wrapping my head around the fact that a socialist, radical Muslim bordering on communist is the front runner to be the mayor of New York City 24 years after 9/11. I'm just blown away. Absolutely blown away.
Yeah, it seems impossible that we could possibly be looking at this and legitimately, seriously having concerns that this could very, very much happen. And, and as we've said, we talked about when last time we talked about this a couple weeks ago, we said, if this does happen, you can absolutely kiss New York goodbye.
Yep.
And, this is a big deal. Anyone who says, whatever, screw New York, we don't need them. No, I mean, it's pretty much one of our most visible, you know what I mean? I mean, it's kind of a big deal, kind of a really big deal. What are your thoughts on Sliwa? This guy's been around, and I guess it doesn't technically matter because he's going to be out. But what do you think of him? I mean, he's been around forever, this guy.
He has, and he's very New York, which I'm surprised that hasn't garnered him more support.
Agreed.
Even in the debate the other night. Yeah, even in the debate the other night, they asked, moderators asked him, like, how do you get around the city? If you can't, and he basically said, I always move around on foot as much as I can. And then okay, well, if you can't, then what do you take? Do you take public transportation? Do you take Uber? He's like, oh, well, I don't take yellow cabs because back, in 87, the Gotti family tried to I got shot while I was riding in the back of a yellow cab. The Gotti family tried to have me whacked. And, and I'm like, that is the most New York thing.
That is so New York. Yeah.
And even with that, like he's got nothing.
So bizarre to me because it just feels like he'd be great.
And the guy doesn't.
As far as
I mean, let's be honest. He doesn't have the resume to be mayor of the largest, major metropolitan area in the United States, and one of the largest in the world.
But again, that's crazy too when you think about it. Like, okay, so my choices are a guy who's never held the job before, so is green.
Yep.
Or the guy that shut down his state and let all these elderly people die. Like, this is what you're choosing between. And they're saying, yeah, we'll go with the guy that, killed all those people, basically. We'll go with him. He's all right. He's okay. I mean, he's all right.
Well, the other side saying we're going to go with the guy with no qualifications.
Yeah.
But you got to remember, like, this is also the country that elected a community organizer.
Right.
So,
right. Yeah.
I mean, there's that. I unfortunately think that this is, unless something drastic happens, I think Mamdani is going to win. New York is going to become an example. I just hope everyone pays attention. That's all.
I think so too. I think it's going to happen. Yeah. I actually think it's going to happen. I mean, they would have to pull out all of the stops. I mean, and I don't even know what the stops are to be pulling out at this point. Like, what stops are there? I mean, you're pulling all of the stops. You're going with the guy who basically said, pick me. I'm not going to run as a Republican. I'll run as an independent. Pick me because I'm the lesser of the evils. That's your campaign slogan right there. Oh, goodness gracious. Yeah, I don't know. It's so gross. It's so scary to me that this is going to happen. It's going to happen. I want to be wrong, so I hope I'm wrong. I'm not like Clay. I'm not always right, so I'm hoping this is I'm hoping this is the time where I'm wrong.
Yeah, and you're going to start seeing it. There's already talk of the stock exchange moving to Dallas, which has been going on for a while. Yeah. Like, that discussion's been happening. And listen, folks, the location of the stock exchange is very symbolic. Like, the days of the classic Eddie Murphy trading places, like, there's like people trading on the floor. That doesn't happen anymore.
Right.
That's not a thing. Everything's done electronically, so that the location is symbolic, but there is discussion about it moving out of New York City into Dallas.
Yeah.
That has resurfaced with a vengeance. And then you will have other major corporations that will leave the city.
Yeah.
It's going to happen. So it'll be interesting to watch. And the folks that are voting, are looking for the free stuff. They're looking for the handouts. I've heard mention of free public transportation more in the last 2 weeks than I've ever heard in my life, because that's one of his campaign promises. It's to ease the burden, is that he is going to make public transportation free in the city.
Yeah, what were you going to be writing that public transportation with? All of the people that he just decriminalized all of their, right? Like, that's what you want? How quickly? Yeah, how quickly y'all forget some of those incidents that have just happened.
Brad Penny, right? You're going to have that all over again. You're going to in spades. It happen perpetually.
Yep. Oh, no question about it. And I'll tell you what, what really makes me so angry right now too is that, like, you have the blueprint created for you. All you had to do was watch what the Trump administration did and his team. And what did they do? They tapped the youth, the young voters, and they got in all this fresh blood with this that knew how to reach your Charlie Kirks and people like that with just energy and could appeal to more people. Why the hell aren't you letting those people run your campaigns? Get yourself out there. I don't care if it's Sliwa or Cuomo, I mean, preferably the other guy, but get the youth involved. I sound like such an old person when I say get the youth involved. Get off my lawn and get involved. But seriously, like, they gave you the model to use to win people over, to build your platform, so to speak. So why aren't you doing it? Why aren't you learning from everything that has happened? It makes me crazy.
Yeah, it's about the money. It's about the funding. It always is. Sliwa probably doesn't have a ton, and the GOP can throw as much as they want at him out of the closet because it's an off election year. But the problem is it's an off election year, so there isn't a lot of funding to be had. There's not a lot of fundraising going on, so that makes it a little more challenging. But I just don't think he's a good candidate. Regardless, they can throw all the money they want at it, and I don't think he's that guy. And he is, to me, a little bit of the get off of my lawn old man. And so there is, that's a bit of a conundrum for the youth movement, like you said, is to attract those people to vote for a guy who is the get off of my lawn guy. Now, what they might want to do is go back and see how Biden got elected. Oh, wait, they fixed that election, so they can't really do that. That didn't really work.
Darn.
But it's a tough call. But I don't think it matters. I really don't. I hate to say that, but I think Mamdani he's got it sewed up already. As crazy as that sounds.
Yeah, well, he's got the support of those donors, those big buck donors, and he's running in a already destroyed state. It's already overrun with illegals, and they have no incentive to fix any of that. So he's really kind of preaching to his own choir there.
Yeah, and he's offering all the free stuff.
Right.
He's offering, no cash bail, no detention. He's going to clean out all the prisons. It's all the free. It's going to be, price controlled grocery stores and all these things that he's promising that truthfully he's not going to get done.
Right.
There's going to be so little of this stuff that he actually puts into place. But he's going to put enough of it into place to destroy the city. I have no doubt in my mind about that.
Yeah. And, all the major companies and corporations and business owners and families, they're gone. They're out. They're leaving. If that happens, the minute that comes to be the reality, you'll probably see one of those mass exoduses again. And I'm just going to make one request. Could you please stay out of Florida? Could you?
Yeah. Don't bring your crap. Don't take your crap to Florida. Don't take your crap to Texas.
Don't you dare. Don't you do it.
With you. I
Yeah.
think, we're going to go a little bit out of order here, but, President Trump is doing what he can do at the federal level to try and clean this up in the places where this has already happened.
Yeah.
Right? And that is Chicago and Portland are the two big ones.
Yeah.
By the way, very quietly, Bill, it's got National Guard support and it's working and people are happy about it. Washington, D.C. has proved that it works. But you've got this, you're going to have this in New York. Now, there's been two, interestingly enough, and this is going to go to the Supreme Court, but we've had this past week, two circuit level appeals courts rule in opposite directions.
Yeah.
So the Ninth Circuit Appeals Court ruled that President Trump has the authority to put National Guard into Portland. The Seventh Circuit Court has ruled that he does not have the authority to put troops into Chicago. So what you're going to have is, it's going to kick up to SCOTUS for them to decide. And I think we all know how that one is probably going to end up.
Yeah. We think. We're not positive.
True.
Because you never know. They've thrown some wild cards out there.
Yeah. Amy Coney Bryant, you just never know which direction she's going to go. And
you really don't. And I'm kind of okay with that. I know some people are probably going to get mad about that. Exactly. Like, I don't want her to, I don't want any of them to be a puppet for anyone, whether it's Trump and whether it's what I want or think is right or not. I just want you to rule on what is accurate, what's constitutional. That's it. Like, that's literally all I want from you, even if it's not the outcome that I want. So, and that's what we should all expect and want.
Yeah, I think what was interesting about the two rulings by the appeals courts, literally in the same week, was that essentially, so the Ninth Circuit, which was the ruling on Portland, they had a 2-1 in favor of allowing the president, the rights and authorities to put troops into Portland. And the 2-1, the two said he had provided enough reason within the limits and, limits of the Constitution to do this. The Seventh Court, which is the Chicago decision, said that they didn't provide enough, evidence, information, data to back, et cetera, et cetera. So what we don't know, the lay person don't know, is were the briefs prepared the same?
Right.
Was the data different? Was it literally a carbon copy, or were they developed independently, submitted independently? And one was not up to the same standard as the other? Or is it just literally you've got two circuit courts who see things very, very differently? But I think it's very interesting, the timing of those two rulings.
Yeah, absolutely. I would actually be really curious I would love to see, we're never going to, but I would love to see the difference or similarities between the two. I just would love to understand exactly what you're pointing out. Like, why? How did one get approved and the other denied. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's Portland's going to help. They're and really they're going. I'm fairly confident they're going to be in a protective status.
Mm-hmm.
At they're going to be there to protect facilities, which I think is the intent for if they come into Chicago as well.
Yeah,
to go there and guard the buildings and allow the ICE agents, BPS, all the federal law enforcement to go in and do their job and not have to guard their buildings at the same time.
Yeah, it's so out of control. These people are so out of control, and that's got to stop. Period. Whether you agree with them being there and doing what they're doing or not, there is no time whatsoever where it's acceptable to threaten or attack them at all. And because their families are getting, and the whole thing with them being masked and covered up, and they're trying to get them to not be able to do that. Are you kidding me? We're talking about people who not only go after these agents, they go after their families. They find their families and go after them. So screw you guys. No, they can keep covered head to toe for all I care, as long as, you know.
I think they said this was this past week was the highest level of violence against law enforcement in history, the U.S. history. So I don't. That's no confirmation of that, but you could see where that would make sense. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
And so, we'll see what happens because they're going to appeal the appeals court, right, which is going to bypass Seventh Circuit appeals court for the Chicago ruling. It's going to go to SCOTUS. Now, the question is when SCOTUS rules, if they rule opposite to what's going on in Portland, then does Portland turn around, does Oregon or whoever filed suit in that case, do they put an appeal in? I'm sure they're probably putting an appeal into SCOTUS anyway.
I would imagine so, yeah.
So I would imagine that all of that is going to bubble up at the same time. So we'll see what happens there. But to go back to your last point, and it transitions nicely into the next topic is, this No Kings March that happened on Saturday was an absolute abhorrent display
disgusting
of the violence that you're talking about.
Yeah. I mean, the lowest of the low really presented themselves for this. And, I'm just, there were many examples of absolutely deplorable, disgusting behavior by these attendees. I'm going to sum it up by this woman. You've probably all seen her already. You know which one? You know which one? This one. Let me add her, Clay.
Hey! You ever heard of Ozempic, you fat ass? Hey!
So yeah, if you weren't catching what she was doing there, she was making a hand gesture. So let me backpedal. The young man who yelled out his opinion of her or her question to her. Sorry, I didn't bleep that out, guys. They drove by with a banner for Charlie Kirk, referring to Charlie Kirk as a hero. And they drove by there. And yes, of course, they're antagonizing these, protesters, whatever. Everybody can do what they want to do. Free speech, right? So drove by with that. And her response to that was to use a finger gun to point to her neck multiple times. And I think she was saying bye or pow or something along those lines. Obviously, I think we can all gather what her point was there. So she is her name is Lucy Rodriguez. She is an elementary school teacher. Let me repeat. She's an elementary school teacher in
Chicago, baby.
Sorry, Clay.
Yeah.
Another Chicago finest there. Yes, and it's the Nathan Hale Elementary School, which was bombarded big time, so much so that they shut down their website and scrubbed everything. And the last that I know of, which again, today is Wednesday, it is 5:04 p.m. The last that I know is that she has not been fired. She has not been let go from her job. Now, could that have changed? Will that change? No idea whatsoever. All I know is that as a parent, please be very, very aware of who is teaching your children.
Yeah. Our girl Megan Kelly had a probably one of her most aggressive commentaries about that woman, and about the entire situation. She covered all the same things that you just covered as far as the social media goes, and all the complaints that are being filed. But she basically ended her monologue on this topic with, and I'll quote my father, with two words for that woman, and they were not "Let's dance." So.
Love me some Megan.
Yeah, it was. She was worked up. But so that's one example. There was also in L.A. I don't know if you saw this. So there was a protester standing up, or really an organizer standing up in front of everybody, talk in South Central, saying, this is South Central. The police aren't the only people who have guns here. And basically projected that threat of armed violence against the police and ICE and law enforcement in general. There was a very similar Chicago incident in Chicago, the same thing, same type of rhetoric. Hey, we've got guns too. You should, shoot the police, basically, is what was said. There was I don't know if I think she was maybe a college professor, has now been saying that white sympathizers should be following the example of pre-Civil War anti-slavery white sympathizers that were killing.
Wow.
Right. So there's that. So the assassination of Charlie Kirk, everybody, the sympathy that did exist for the very, very short period of time is gone.
Yeah.
It is gone. Everybody got mad at Jimmy Kimmel. Jimmy Kimmel got, suspended. His show got let back on. He was just the only one who probably stayed honest to how he felt.
Right.
As opposed to all these other people who kind of kept their mouth shut for a little while and then just resumed their normal, violent vitriol, crap coming out of their mouth, which is what came out at this No Kings rally.
Yeah, it was just a giant hate fest, and one based in something so profoundly absurd. And, we could go down an entire list of reasons why President Trump is not a king. And let's just start with the most obvious, which is that if President Trump was a king or thought he was your king, you would not be allowed to be out there protesting. This would not be happening. So all of your arguments are gone before they even start. So it's sheer stupidity. It is absolute ignorance. It is just performative BS. So you have your people that we know damn well are your paid agitators, that they're getting bussed in and shipped in for these things, and they're getting paid to protest and to carry around signs, and they clock out, at a certain time. There's a video floating around of like them all dispersing at 1 p.m. I don't know what time it was, but it was like all of a sudden they all just started dispersing. Yep. All done. Oh, yeah, exactly. Yeah. They
down the dinosaur. Up they went. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. They clocked out. They were done. They did their, their 8 hours. I don't know if they cry about 8-hour work days. So I'm sure it wasn't 8 hours. They could probably do like 2.5 hours, and then they need to, I don't know, go home and take a nap in their basement. But, yeah, mommy's basement. Exactly. The videos, and I tried not to watch too many of them, Clay, because it just makes my blood pressure go up so high. And I try to be so calm. Another one I saw, and I elected not to even share it, was a young boy, maybe like 9-10 years old, with a I don't know if it was a makeshift knife or a real knife or what it was, or some kind of dagger. And an adult, a grown ass adult, was holding up like a Trump pinata or balloon. You saw that one?
Yep.
And a child is stabbing the doll, whatever it is, to death, like violently, and they're cheering and they're applauding them and they're all laughing and like, this is so great. Yeah, stab them more. That is such child abuse. I can't even take it.
Who does that? Do you know who does that? Hamas does that. Organizations do that. That's how they breed the next generation of terrorists.
Yeah.
They desensitize their children. It's the child soldiers throughout Africa over the last 25 years. This is exactly the same thing. That's what they're doing to these kids. They're brainwashing them to be without sense, right? No sensitivity,
right.
Violent agitators.
Yeah.
And so we have a bigger problem brewing down the line that is not going to disappear with President Trump when he leaves office in 3 years. And folks, he is going to leave office in 3 years.
Right.
I'm willing to bet a lot of money that 3 years from now there is not a King Trump staying in office for an illegal third term. Right.
Right.
And I would tell you that if you challenged many of these people to a significant amount of money to bet them and hold them to it, they would not bet that money.
They would not.
Confident as they pretend to be. Very few of those people, as much as they want to be agitated, would put their house or their car on the line to say, yes, in 3 years, there will be a King Trump. They won't bet that.
No.
It's not that realistic. But we've got all of this going on. And then on top of it, you've got, the media is exacerbating, right? So the it is 7 million. I've seen numbers as low as 645,000.
Yes.
And truthfully spread out across the locations, we're probably closer to the 1 to 3 million window. But we do know for a fact that MSNBC used drone film footage, actually it was helicopter film footage from 2017. All right. From 8 years ago, from a completely different event to show the participation in the No Kings March. I think it was supposed to be Boston, but it wasn't. It was something else. It was it was same location, but completely different crowd of people. So now you've got the media is complicit.
Right.
So there's all kinds of problems with this. And you said it, you didn't watch very many of the interviews, the on the street. There were plenty of conservatives across plenty of locations who were walking around asking questions, man on the street, microphone and a camera.
Yeah.
Some of them got attacked.
Yeah.
I saw that happen in a number of locations.
Some of those. Yeah.
But even the people that, somewhat agreed to participate in the interview couldn't tell you why they were out there. They had no
idea. Couldn't give you anything.
Couldn't articulate anything.
Nope.
Couldn't give you any concrete evidence of why or to, even if they had a reason to provide any proof that their reason was true. And it was all the standard play card. It was, he's taking away voting rights. No, he's not. He's arresting Americans. No, he's not.
No, he's not.
It was all of those things. He's attacking women. He's doing this. He's doing that, and it was all garbage. And so, we're back to the paid agitators, like you said, which made up a significant portion of this. I saw a number upwards of $300 million financing the No Kings March, to include paying protesters, but $300 million towards that. Could you imagine what they could have done with $300 million for the causes they believe in?
Yeah, exactly. And, and it's just further proof that it has nothing to do. It actually has nothing to do with President Trump. I mean, it has a little bit to do with him. It's all about agitating. It's all about causing strife and anger and resentment and division and hostility. It's all about creating chaos.
Yep.
They don't want to fix anything. They don't want solutions. Solutions, if you have a solution, then you don't have a problem to keep fighting against all the time, a perceived problem to fight all the time. And that's what they do. They whip up their minions, these dummies out there protesting No Kings, the ones you just mentioned that, you confront them and I just want to say, God bless those man on the street, woman on the street, independent journalists. It's very brave, because there is close to no doubt that you will be getting attacked in some way or another. So
or arrested. Which was crazy in a lot of places.
Insane. So I give them, it's not something I could or would do, to be perfectly honest. Not my lane, not my thing. So I have so much respect for them and a lot of anxiety for them when they're out there doing that, because, you see the way these people escalate, and you can't have conversations with them because they're so irrational and just like, steam coming out of their ears. So much props to the ones on the ground doing that, because it's not, maybe if they're young, they probably think it's fun and exciting, but to me, it looks absolutely horrific.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I don't know when people are going to come to this understanding that this is not about an actual cause or a problem that they're looking to solve. They're looking to create problems and continue to create problems. So you can't reason with them. You can't have conversations with them. All you can do is call them out and point out their hypocrisy and their stupidity, like these people are doing. And, again, I'm so thankful for that because, in real time, we get to see and point out, like, look, this is what's happening. This is what they're saying. They have nothing, and it's a teaching tool also for anyone who's not going to that extreme and confronting them that way. But when you're having that conversation with your Uncle Bob or your Aunt Phyllis, and they're like, Trump's a dictator, he thinks he's a king. Well, how? What is he doing? He took away your rights as a woman. What rights? What can't I do? Tell me, what can't I do? Tell me the names of the American citizens that he has deported. Give me the proof. And you could do that on your local quiet level. And yes, I know it's intimidating. It's scary, but you have to do it. You have to on that small level, because groups, forget it. It's not going to happen. But on that one-on-one, maybe you'll get through to somebody. I don't know. It's a wild hope I have. This segues into what? I feel like this. Chaos on the campus there. You want that one?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a pretty good segue.
Yeah. So it's another example of how the Charlie Kirk sympathy was a lie, and how it's, even those that had it, it's already worn off. So for those of you that aren't aware, a bad thing which turned into a good thing on a college campus this past week, last week actually. So on Illinois State campus, Turning Point USA, their chapter there, and I happen to know the young man who's the chapter president. They had an information table set up on campus, authorized by the university, all of those things, right? And so this has been covered on the news, but a master's student who was a teaching assistant, came up, said something to the effect of, Jesus split the tables too, so I guess I have to do that. Now, this was all caught on film. Sometimes having that phone's a beautiful thing. But he took the TPUSA table with all their information on it inside of their pop-up tent, and he tossed it. And he knocked over a bunch of their stuff. There's a little bit of verbal confrontation, and then next to them, or very close, there's a university poster, like a place where you can put posters and flyers and those kinds of things. We walked by that, saw what appears to be a Turning Point USA poster, ripped it off, and stormed off. Well, of course, all this got caught on film. It got reported to the police, and got reported to the university. That young man, that teaching assistant, was arrested. He was processed for civil disturbance, destruction of property, was reported to the university. He has been fired as a teaching assistant. He still has the case pending, but also has the potential to be kicked out of his master's program and expelled. So what you did have was a bad incident, which proves that there's no sympathy. It was all a lie. But you also have a university campus police department who acted appropriately. You had a university who took this very seriously, regarding freedom of speech, violence on campus, all of those things. And they fired this young man, and they have left the door open for more disciplinary actions to be taken.
Good.
So, it was a challenging incident. And I admire the kids from TPUSA as they all kept their head. 20-year-old Clay Novak probably would not have. That would have been
not this girl either.
Would have got his man bun rearranged.
Yes.
But they didn't. They kept their heads, and they let the right things happen, which was, him getting arrested, eventually getting, they reported he was arrested, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
So, yeah, folks, an example of a university doing the right thing, which we haven't seen a lot of in the last few years, but also, again, the left showing its true colors.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And, it doesn't get more simple than we all agree free speech is vitally important. Well, I should say we all agree. We agree. Everybody over on this side agrees. They only agree that free speech applies to them, and that is it. And that's proven over and over again. So go ahead, try and argue this with me, please. Knock yourself out. You know why? Because I will let you have your free speech, but unlike y'all. But here's the thing, keep your damn hands to yourself. You keep your hands to yourself. If you can't win a fight with your words and your intelligence, I love the irony too, because they're usually calling us idiots and stupid and ignorant and uneducated and illiterate. Like they're always throwing those things in, yet you can't win a fight with your facts. Like you can't even do it. So what the heck? He didn't even try. Yeah, he didn't care. He had no intention.
Nope.
No intention. So how's that degree working out for you if you can't even make your, loser?
Yep.
I want to share something as we're talking about this. Let's see if I can get it. It's related. A friend of mine, Mark DeLuzio, he has his own podcast, and he's come on here a few times, and we've chatted. And he reached out to me about a week or two ago, about a week and a half, and he called me from Dubai, which was pretty cool. I'm like, wow, that's pretty okay, cool. He's out there for a business trip. And gives me a call and he says, hey, what's a check-in how I'm doing with the whole Charlie Kirk thing. Because, we're all still feeling the feels about this. And I hope we always will. And as we're talking, he was telling me some stories that he had met Charlie and, got to have a one-on-one conversation with him. And he was such a great guy. Everything that we think that he is, he was. And all of a sudden he says to me, he says, oh, you know what? I have, those little pamphlets, those little pocket constitutions that Turning Point USA hands out on campuses. I have one that Charlie gave to me. And it's not signed or anything, but it's from him. I'm going to send it to you because I know you'd really appreciate it. Here it is.
That's awesome.
Here it is. Isn't that awesome? And it's, listen, I try not to be a person who's about stuff and things like material physical things, but this just means so much to me that to know that Charlie Kirk gave this to him. He was so kind to give this to me just simply to have, and it's so cool too. So if you do ever get your hands on one, it's really great. It's a pocket constitution. It tells you everything you need to know. I wanted to share that and say thank you again to Mark for giving something that you just absolutely didn't have to do. So sorry guys, I had to segue for a moment there, and now we can get back on track. Sorry. But yeah, it was super cool. But back at it. I mean, this is a thing, and what happened with that one, like you said, is such a fantastic example of what needs to happen. Like this needs to be. There has to be what we always talk about: consequence for your actions, and firm and swift and damaging. Like it needs to be something that's really gonna, this could ruin this guy's whole academic future, as it should. This wasn't a stupid mistake that you make as a kid. This is a grown adult making a conscious decision. And in this day and age too, when everybody's recording everything, that's how freaking dumb they are. So I was very glad to hear the consequences of that for sure. Let's see, what else have we got, Clay? What didn't we hit yet? I want to talk about the deportations. That's a good one. Yeah. Let's talk about it.
1 million plus folks. And so, Elsa and I were talking about this before. So what you got right now is the number is 1.6 million-ish self-deportations, right? Mm-hmm. And listen, Kristi Noem, Pam Bondi, they're all continuing to encourage illegal aliens self-deport. Yeah. Right? Don't turn it.
Make it easy on everybody.
Pack your stuff up and go. Okay?
Right.
So that's 1.6 million. There's been about 550,000 detained and deported.
Yeah.
Okay. So now we're up over 2 million. I also saw a rough number in the 400,000 range of arrested, detained, and not deported. So we've got another, we're going to be in the 2.5 million range here as those folks are processed and charged with whatever crimes and then decided if they get deported or if they go to, U.S. prison. I'm a big fan of just get rid of them. But in some cases, ultra violent criminals, I think they should go and spend time in our prison system. I know people don't necessarily want to pay for it, but I would rather in those ultra violent cases put them in, a hard time, like big boy time in the United States versus sending them back to some third world country where they're going to get off the plane and they're going to be in the wind and, it's only a matter of time before they come back. So we're over 2 million in deportations and we've got another, approaching 500,000 that have been arrested and are being processed. So But as great as that is, there's two other things to keep in mind. One, that's only about 10% of the 20 million, which, the number is somewhere between 18 and a half and 20 million that were let in during the Biden administration. So,
Right.
That's 10%. So they've knocked that down. It's a huge number. Don't get me wrong.
Absolutely.
And it's much better than anything we ever anticipated, but it is only 10%. And then, the other part of that is zero occurrences of them across the border. This past month in the El Paso district, which I spent time down there while I was in the Army, you've got Ciudad Juarez literally right across from El Paso, which is the most dangerous border city there is. Zero interactions with BTS. Zero.
Amazing.
Right?
Yeah.
So while we are only 10% in the deportation process, we're also not bringing the influx is gone.
Right.
So we're making significant headway. I mean, think about it. If it was at the old numbers, we would barely be making a dent because we'd be picking out as many as we're coming in probably in the same amount of time.
Yeah, just be a revolving door, basically.
Yeah. So I think it's great. I think I did see Kristi Noem just yesterday in a press conference. Somebody asked her about, good, hardworking immigrants, something along the lines of what are her thoughts on that. And she said, apply for,
apply.
do it the right way.
That's it.
Go back and do it the right way. We would love to have the good, honest, hardworking people stay.
Right.
We do. I think we all agree on that.
Yes.
But you've got to do it the right way. You've got to go back and fill out the paperwork. You've got to, you've got to do those things. And then we're more than happy to.
Right.
We are.
I'm even for, cutting through red tape for people who are coming over, who are going to contribute greatly to this country. If you're, I don't know, if you're a scientist or if you're, you know what I mean? Yeah. If you have some significant contribution to the betterment of this country, I say cut through that red tape, get them through faster. And, and I'm sorry to anyone who just simply wants a better life and plans to, just simply be a good human, be a good citizen to this country or adoptive citizen to this country. I apologize to you that you're doing it the right way and it's going to take you longer and all that stuff. But you know what? If it's really worth it to you, what is it saying? Anything worth having is worth working for, right? And it should be a challenging process. It should not be this open door to whoever feels like it. You letting people in your house just because they feel like coming in? Of course not. I mean, let's just use logic, just simple common sense. And I'm so tired of the left lumping in immigrants with illegal aliens. Like, I'm so tired of you people putting those in the same category and trying to paint us as, being terrible people for not. No, I listen, I've said it so many times, guys. I'm the daughter and granddaughter of legal immigrants who did it the hard way, did it the right way. And I'm so grateful for that. So
yeah, and we're not the only ones going through this, folks. I mean, we know, we've all seen what's going on in England, right? The UK is a mess right now. But you've got, European countries that are standing the same ground we are, that are starting to deport. The brand new Japanese prime minister.
Wow, yes. How about that?
And her very first thing she did, she's starting deportations.
Yeah.
Same, right? For the same reasons, right? And so, and Japan is about as, that is about as closed to culture as you get, and always have been. So, this is turning into a global problem. And we know President Trump, God love him, is doing the best he can to keep America from being a victim of itself, and forcing folks. We're not closing the doors. You just got to do it the right way.
Right.
And good for him and good for all of us.
Yeah, absolutely. So, famous saying, cry harder if you don't like it. This is this is the way that it is intended to be. This is the way it is supposed to happen. And you're not liking it doesn't make it okay. So, or you know what I mean? You know what I mean, people.
If you're coming across on a boat that's trafficking drugs, I would not recommend that either, because you're not going to get deported. you're going to get evaporated.
Yeah, you're gonna wish you were just deported. Another one today
was the first West Coast.
Ooh.
So this was the first one on the West Coast, out in the Eastern Pacific Ocean, coming up the West Coast of Mexico, Baja, and then approaching California. And they smoked another one out there. So it's not just the Caribbean, but it's happening. And again, if you're gonna come, I wouldn't even take a boat. Like, hey, drugs or no drugs, I would not come to America on a boat.
As Kamala Harris once said, "Don't come." Oh wait, I should do it right. You want me to do it right?
Yeah. Come on.
Okay. I have to tell you, don't come. Stay. Don't come. Okay. Yeah, there you go. But she did. Those were her words, guys. If you don't believe me, you can go find it. What's up? The borders are. Yeah. Yes, exactly. So if you don't believe that she said it, she did. Go find it for yourself. You can do it. Oh my goodness. So listen, since we're on the government stuff, let's quickly talk about this bunch of fluffing stuff. Still happening, Clay. What's going on?
Yeah,
your predictions are supposed to come true.
Yeah, I'm way off on this one. But I did say last week that I don't know when this one is going to end. I really don't. They're both hardlining. Today is day 22, which puts us into the fourth week, obviously. And I think we are at 11 or 12 votes now. I've kind of lost track. There's been no headway being made. But what's frightening is that we are now starting to approach, we found about $8 billion to pay the military for the first half of the month. Right now, and I think President Trump has said that there is the money. They have the money. There is money to pay them for the second half of the month. I don't know where that's coming from. But, it's not just them. It's TSA. Right. TSA is working for free right now. Air traffic controllers are working for free. Border Patrol federal law enforcement is working for free. Oh, by the way, those ICE and BPS and everybody that's like out there getting attacked in the streets of major metro areas, they're not working on a paycheck right now.
Yeah.
So they've got to get this fixed. And you can say everything you want. You can say anything you want. You will never convince me that this is not on the Dems for doing this.
Oh, I feel it is absolutely on them. It is absolutely on them. I mean, it's absolutely on them. And anyone who says otherwise is just not paying attention to what they're saying.
The man on the street interviews from the No Kings March. I saw somebody who asked this question at one of the No Kings marches, and I didn't get the location, but asked this question repeatedly: should the Democrats capitulate and sign the continuing resolution and move forward and figure out the budget? And every single person said absolutely no.
Wow.
They should stand their ground. Now, here is the other thing that they all had in common. Every single one of them were white females.
How about that?
How about willing to bet probably white suburban females.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
But white females for sure. I think it was either 5 or 6 because after the third one, I'm like, are they going to talk to a dude?
Right. Yeah. How strange.
It was every one of them were women, and it was 5 or 6 of them. But they perpetually, absolutely not. We won't, they should never give in.
Because they're entirely unaffected by it. They're entirely unaffected, so they don't care. Doesn't matter to them. If it had anything to do with, I don't know, their Starbucks order or something, they would back down immediately.
But it was all the rhetoric. Oh, this is about healthcare for people, and this is about no, it's not. It was just all the same talking points.
Yeah.
But it was all white females, and they all said the same thing.
Y'all need to represent better, for heck's sake.
All right, torture me. Come on.
Okay. Listen. Big news, guys. Big news. Kevin Federline has released a memoir. So, wait. What? Y'all don't know who Kevin Federline is?
That guy even.
Oh my God. No, he even admitted to having a lot of help working out. So apparently, here he is, basically now. I guess this is what he looks like now. I don't know. K-Fed. Does anybody remember K-Fed? I don't know how y'all don't remember if you don't, but he was the husband, short-term husband of Britney Spears. for a period of time. They had quite the little world. Yeah, I think so. Like 2 years. Yeah,
Right?
two kids. Yeah. He was bashed pretty hard. I think they met and got married all within like 3 months or something.
Wasn't he like the typical, like he was a backup dancer?
He was a backup dancer. Yep, he was a backup dancer. Got, understandably labeled a gold digger. They went on their, basically white trash dating tour of the world. There's video of her coming out of public bathroom, gas station bathrooms barefoot, and him and his wife beat her. It was just such a bad look, bad time. As we all know, Britney Spears had a very tumultuous life. Still does. She was under conservatorship for for like 13 years, I think. And that happened shortly after, not long after they divorced, an ugly divorce. All of those things. Listen, K-Fed got bashed quite a lot for a lot of things, namely, of course, being perceived as a gold digger, taking swipes at her as they were going through their divorce, having like multiple baby mamas, all of the things, so he's gotten a pretty bum rap. Has he deserved it? I don't know. Guys. I don't know if he deserves it or not. What I will say for him is that when Britney really went off the deep end there, he took, full custody of those kids and raised them. And I don't think there was really a heck of a lot of drama there. Maybe some questionable eyebrow raising things there that, were leaked to the press here and there. But for the most part, he gave those kids a pretty private life. So I think, we're going to give him some props for that. But say what you will, folks. The Britney of today. I'm going to show you a little video. It's kind of like watching a traffic accident. And this is just kind of one sampling of more or less what all her videos look like. So here we go. I mean, she's not okay. There's probably like, I don't know, 100+ videos of her just doing things like this. This is what she does over and over and over again in these videos. Rarely talks. When she does do speaking videos, she is either speaking in some kind of foreign accent or she's using a totally different style of speech. Like, she is clearly not doing okay, Like, and I do want to be kind about this because I feel so badly for her and all of these child stars who are now not okay. I mean, there's so many of them that are not okay. And it's so sad that they had to go through whatever the heck that they have gone through. It's definitely scarred them for life. So most importantly, guys, I just wanted you to know that if you've been waiting for K-Fed's memoir, you can get it now. And I mean, if you want me to read it for you, I won't. I won't. I'm not going to do it. Listen, I wish him well. I wish him success in his endeavor here. But
I bet he sells more copies than KJP.
Yeah, I bet you're right. I bet you're right.
Her book is tanking.
Yeah. I may have to buy it just so he beats her, because that's all you really need. One person to buy it. That's it, to beat her.
Yeah.
Oh goodness. That's it, guys. That's all we got. Listen, we had to end on an amusing, light note. That was more than enough. And I'm sure I don't need to tell you guys that I'm just kidding. Who cares about this memoir? But in case you do, you might, some people like that tabloid stuff. I like a little bit. I'm not going to lie. Like, I'm like, okay, give me a little bit of the tea. Give me a little bit of the tea. And then I'm like, oh no, what am I doing listening to the tea? I have to be done with this. I'm too old for this. I'm too old to be saying, give me the tea, first of all. So I think I am, at least, but I don't know. Well, that's all I got, guys. We thank you as always for hanging out. I thank Clay every time that he holds down the fort for me and takes care of the show like it's our baby. He takes care of it. It's so nice. So be nice to him every time. I know that you guys are. It was a great episode that you did. All that good stuff. You still have so much fun stuff going on with your thing. Go ahead, tell him that to kind of close us out. Yeah.
Yeah. So 3 weeks. 3 weeks until book 3 in the Terry Davis you're a binger, if you're a binge entertainment person, and you're a reader, you will have 3 books to buy, which I think is enough for just about anybody.
Woohoo!
Veterans Day, Book 3, Rebellis, Terry Davis series drops.
That is awesome. I love anybody who is a series reader, and I am a series reader. I love series. Loves you for doing that because we hate waiting for the next book.
I know.
It's nothing, right? So that is so awesome.
2 years after the first one came out.
Yeah.
Waiting
Yeah.
for more, right?
Yes. They were coming for you on that too. They're like cracking the whip. Get to work, get it done. Like, I'm trying. But yeah, guys, go get that series. What'd you say? November 11th. Yes.
November 11th, Veterans Day, the 3rd book. First 2 books are available on Amazon. You can look me up, Clay Novak, Keep Moving, Keep Shooting, and Cross the Bear Out.
Outstanding. They're getting great reviews too. So go get it so you can find out what it's all about. All right, guys. Thank you. And we'll see you in the comment section. Take care.
Combat veteran Terry Davis thought he left the fight behind. In Tampa, he uncovered a deadly conspiracy. Now, he's back home in Chicago, and war has followed him to his doorstep. Gangs armed like soldiers, a shadowy enemy rising from the past, and one man who refuses to stand down. From the quiet suburbs to the shores of Lake Michigan, Terry Davis will risk everything to protect the people he loves, because that is his cross to bear. Clay Novak's explosive new novel, Cross to Bear, Book 2 in the Terry Davis series.
She's the voice behind the viral comedy, bold commentary, and truth-packed interviews that cut through the chaos. Author, brand creator, proud conservative Christian, this is Elsa Kurt. Welcome to the show that always brings bold faith, real truth, and no apologies.